All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Quack podcast. I'm your host, Spidercides, and here with me is none other than the product director at Habbo himself. Hopefully, I don't butcher your name. Is it pronounced Muumiopappa?
I think that's close enough.
Close enough.
Muumiopappa in Finnish.
Muumiopappa. All right, awesome. That sounds a little bit better. All right, I'll try to say that throughout the recording here. But yeah, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to sit here with me as we chat through and kind of get to know each other and allow the community listening to this to get to know you as well. So I think it's going to be a fun one. But to kick things off, what about an introduction in case there's people that's listening to this right now that don't know who you are? Who is Mumio Papa?
Well, where to start? Well, first of all, I've been at Sulake for 12 years already. So uh, I started as the business intelligence specialist, so basically data analyst, 12 years ago at Sulake. And before that, I worked as a researcher for data and text mining. So I decided then that, well, I wanted to be in the gaming business. I'm a huge gamer. I love games. I play, well, as much as I can. Let's put it that way. And well, I worked with Habbo data for quite some time. Then Hotel Hideaway came, and I started looking into that data as well. And over the years, I pitched ideas to Hotel Hideaway as features. So uh, Hideaway was missing the lead for game design, so I became the lead game designer for Hotel Hideaway at around 2020, I would say. I worked as the lead game designer for some time, and then in 21, the big crypto thing happened. So that was a big year for crypto and NFTs. It was huge NFT time, and we started discussing that should we do something in well, Hotel Hideaway to start with for NFTs, and I started coming up with ideas, but decided that it's way better for Habbo just because of the branding. And there were people in Twitter talking about Habbo and NFTs and how that would be a great fit. So we started experimenting and coming up with ideas, and basically that led to the Habbo avatar drop, and that was hugely successful. And then I became basically the product director of the Habbo NFTs, Habbo Collectibles, that was later called. And from there, I led that project for quite some time, and about a couple of years ago, uh, there were no Habbo directors at that point. So people who were running Habbo left the company, and basically I became the Habbo director at that point since I was directing the part of Habbo, and basically that's where I'm at now, leading Habbo.
Nice. That's awesome. You mentioned in the beginning that you're a gamer. I know we're talking about Habbo here, and we will. What kind of games do you play? Like when you have time, of course.
All sorts. Latest I finished was the Expedition 33.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I think that's gonna be game of the year. I'm calling it right now. It's game of the year. I think
I
that's gonna
like
happen.
Blueprints more. I played
Okay.
Blueprints quite far. I really loved that game. And
Okay.
then I also play with my kids, and the Donkey Kong Bonanza is fantastic.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. That's a good
Also,
one.
so I play all sorts of games, and now I actually played Fortnite quite a bit. A few, well, even 6 months ago, but then it dropped. But now the Simpsons season on Fortnite brought me back, so now I'm playing that with my kids. So.
Hey, The Simpsons. That's the way they did the map and the characters and everything. It's pretty cool. It reminds me of, I don't know if you ever played back in the day, but remember The Simpsons Hit and Run? That's like my favorite Simpsons
Oh yeah,
game, and that's a true classic. And looking at that, like just imagine that game coming back and being remastered, or if they did a Hit and Run 2. They are making a new movie, right? So who knows if a game comes out for it? But that's awesome. No, it's I'm a huge gamer myself. I'm primarily known for Destiny 2. And I've always done a lot of that, which has been fun. So I'm into like FPS shooters. So anything with with a gun is fun for me. Killing aliens and even like things like Halo, that I've always been a fan on myself. Now, in terms of you being the product director and leading the way now for not only collectibles but for the Habbo game itself, what does a product director mean, like for people listening? Like what does that even mean? Like do you make all the decisions? Are you the final person that kind of gives the sign off on a couple ideas? Like what does that entail in terms of your day to day?
Well, I think the simplest way to think about it is that I'm in charge of the things that are coming to Habbo. I try to give other people say as much as I can, but I'm the basically the person who's making the final calls. Of course, since Sulake is owned by Azerion, so some of the things come from Azerion, unfortunately. So we aren't fully autonomous in that sense. So we have to get permission to specific things from them and at least get their feedback, legal feedback, and other feedback. But let's say the roadmap and what we are bringing to Habbo, it's group effort, but I make the final calls. What is coming to there? Habbo, how we see it internally is that it consists of, let's say, sort of three different aspects. One is collectibles, but it's more and more part of Habbo. Then there's the classic Habbo, and then there's the origins. On paper, I make calls for everything, but origins, I leave that to Magleby and make the decisions on that front mostly. I sign off them, and I'm part of the discussions. But I would say that the things that you love in Origins are 100% from Magleby, and then I focus more on Habbo, and it's also Habbo brand, so where we want to take Habbo brand. Unfortunately, there hasn't been really much done lately with that, and it's more because of resources and not having enough, let's say, money to market it. But if we ever do have money, then that's also part of my work.
Okay, nice. In terms of like just getting the name out there, of course, that's exciting. So, in terms of the decisions and when ideas do come in, do you also have your own ideas? Like, obviously, you're in the discussion, but do you come up with your own ideas, or do you wait for things to come to you?
I have lots of my own ideas. That's coming from the times of being the game designer. So I at least think I understand quite well how games work and what could work well. Of course, I have bad ideas also, but some ideas are coming from the team. We have some people who are very active on pitching ideas, and some of the things that you have seen lately, let's say the respect thing, for example,
Hmm.
didn't come from me. It came from the community and also one of our developers who has been really vocal about that. And then I just sign off on it that yes, we can do that. Let's just do it. Then some ideas like uh, I think we have already mentioned in the anniversary time around the anniversary that the emoji is one of the bigger
Yes, I
features. So
remember
that
that.
uh, yeah, that's basically I would say 90% my design and planning that how we want to do that. So yeah, some are coming from me, but some are coming from the developers or other people in the team, and some are even coming from the community itself.
Nice, that's awesome. So it's just like a community effort at the end of the day, coming from all sides. That's kind of like how we do it in Origins as well with Maccleby, where we submit ideas, and sometimes even there's people on the community side that are submitting their own ideas to Maccleby for him to sign off on, which is nice to see. Because at the end of the day, seeing our own idea into the game, kind of like that blocking feature. That blocking feature started out like obviously in Origins. Matthew was the one that like kind of came up with that in like our community, and then it looks like Sir Jonas kind of implemented that in a way in .com. So it's been nice to see the game evolve. Now you mentioned you've been with the company for about 12 to 13 years, if I'm not mistaken. Did you ever
Yeah.
play before? Did you ever know what Habbo was before when you joined?
Well, of course, in Finland, Habbo, but
Mm.
unfortunately, I'm too old to have been at the playing Habbo at that time. So I basically missed it. I was at the university when Habbo became a big thing, and I missed it. So I think I missed it by a few years. of course, when I started at the company, I started looking into it, and I was actually super surprised at how big Habbo has been, and actually was during that time even that I didn't really know that it was such a big global phenomenon at the time.
Okay. Now, in terms of the game itself, like, what did you know about it? Because obviously it was all over Finland, of course, and it was global. Like, I was playing Habbo.ca when I joined in. Did you? What was your thoughts on it when you first thought of it? Like, did you think of it like a Sims? What was your impression of it?
Well, first of all, the I would say the graphics are iconic. So that was something
Yeah.
that you saw everywhere, and I still think that's the I would say the best part of Habbo, that the how well the graphics age. So the pixel graphics is something that age really well. So it doesn't really look old, even though it's a really old product. So I would say that's the first thing that I think of when I think of Habbo from back in the day before my time in Sulake. So what it looked like, and it's so recognizable. In addition, well, I thought of it as well, virtual chat or avatar chat. I didn't really think about the gaming aspect of it at the
Mm-hmm.
time.
And have we? Because I've noticed there's been a lot of games, even in Origins. There's a lot of skill games with like fishing and gardening, and obviously there's things happening on collectibles with what people build with wired furniture. When it comes to this aspect, are we trying to move towards the direction of like more skill games, more things to do in the hotel? Is that your vision, like for the game itself?
I would say yes. So we have chatting. Of course, we can always improve chatting or the let's say communication aspects of
Hmm.
Habbo. So let's say Habbo has been missing emojis. What we are bringing now is a little bit different, but it's sort of part of self-expression and how you can express or discuss with other people in Habbo. Uh, Part of it is also collecting and making things for you to get in the game, something to, let's say, grind towards. But I would say that to make it more interesting, at least that this is my thinking, and I think many in the team share this, that there needs to be more things to do also. So that's what we have been trying to do. Let's say first off, the daily tasks is an example. So of course we are not anywhere near where I want them to be. I want there to be more things to do and more well, fun things to do there. So basically, when you come in, you will get to choose that. Okay, what I want to do today. Do I want to be social? Do I want to talk with people? Do I want to play with other people? Or if you don't, you can just play with yourself there, and pun intended. And then basically just have fun playing the different types of games. Where I want to see Habbo going is that we improve the, let's say, the creator tools there and be
Gotcha.
even more creator led. So what Sir Jonas is doing fantastic job with the Wired 2.0,
Hmm.
like improving different wired furniture, creating tools for other people, that there can be different types of games, and there have been amazing games.
Yeah.
And I would say that the next year and going forward overall, that the I want to focus even more on that and bringing the daily tasks, for example, part of the loop, that we don't have to come up with, well, tasks that may or may not be boring from the player's perspective, but instead it could be that interact with this type of wired furny, and then creators can do these fun games where you go and interact with them. Of course, it's very difficult because it's so easy to cheese them. So
Hmm.
like currently, if there are quests, then there are rooms with furniture side by side that you go and click everything one
Oh
by
yeah,
one,
yeah, I've
and
seen those. Yeah.
yeah, it gets really boring really quickly. So uh, of course, it's from like my point of view, it's fine that they exist, but from game design point of view, it's really boring. So I want to find a solution for that, that there's more engaging things to do in Habbo.
Nice. So that way it gives a reason for people to keep coming back is what I guess the goal is
Yeah,
ultimately,
yeah,
right? Now,
and yeah,
yeah, yeah.
sorry.
No, no, continue. Yeah, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, just was going to say that the when it's fun, when there are fun things to do, you want to come back. So not just that,
Yeah.
okay, we have this KPI that says that we have returning this many returning users. I don't care about that. We could cheese that easily, but I want it to be engaging and fun, and there's an actual gaming reason. Like it's fun for you to come back. So that's my end goal, and that's why I want to focus on, let's say, player engagement in the future roadmaps that we are working on.
That's honestly exciting because I think the game back in the day when I played Habbo back in 2005, and it was fun. And what I remember is like just chatting with friends. You don't really think about the gaming aspect of it, right? You just come, hang out, build rooms, call it a day. But even coming back now with Origins and even playing .com, it's it's exciting. There's a lot of cool games and things that people build into the game that even got me hooked, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna try to come back to that. I remember years ago, Sir Jonas created Flappy Bird, that mobile game. That bird just jump, 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 right? And he has a room. And I'm not gonna lie, I was trying to get that high score and over and over and over again. And the idea and concept that that's in the game is kind of wild. And seeing what people create nowadays, it's next level. So I love what you're saying in terms of like what the future looks like in terms of just having more of a reason to come back to the game. Because let's face it, sometimes you don't want to talk to people. Sometimes you just want to come play a game by yourself, enjoy your time, come in, do your thing, and then get out and then come back the next day. So I love what I'm hearing there. In terms of, because you right now Origins is on Steam. It's played on the computer, but Habbo you can play on mobile, or on your desktop. Right? When you think about the gaming aspect and everything you're saying, do you think about both sides, like how it can run on mobile versus how it runs on the PC? Does that come into play at all?
It comes definitely so, and I would say that it's a quite recent development in a sense that we have been focusing hard on improving Habbo. Well, of course, Habbo is a business. We need to make money, and we have these targets, and we have been now hitting the target, so we can focus on something else than, let's say, improving the desktop version of the game and improving the monetization aspects. That has been something that we have had to do in order to keep the business afloat, basically. And now
Hmm.
that we have succeeded in that, now we have been focusing on. I think fringe is a little bit too strong of a word. Mobile isn't fringe anymore for Habbo. It's actually, if I remember correctly, about 30% of players play on mobile and only on mobile. So there's
Oh,
lots
okay.
of players on mobile. So it's an important part for us, and that's actually something that we have been kicking off this year in the fall. That how do we improve the mobile client? And when I started this, I started looking into our mobile client, and if I'm honest, I was disappointed how it basically looks and works. I don't know if you have used it for some time, but the whole registration flow, starting from that, it needs to be improved. So that's something that we will be working on in the let's say early next year at the latest. I'm not saying that it's gonna come out that time, but that's when the team will put more, or I will put more resources on that front, and that's definitely an important part where I want to focus. And what I'm thinking, like Habbo is a different experience on this desktop than it is on mobile, and
100%.
I feel like that I don't want people to spend much time on creating rooms on mobile, because that's, I haven't tried it. I actually probably should try it, but I'm guessing it's not a fun experience. It can be fun, but it's way better on desktop. Having said that, I think what you can do on mobile is consume the content that the other creators are doing, and we could also create some our own, well, let's call mini games or something. It's still up in the air what we could offer on mobile, make it a little bit different. I don't see why we couldn't offer those also on desktop, but the focus would be on the mobile experience. And that's something that we have started discussing in the last few months, that how we can improve the mobile as well. And having said that, the main thing, what is most difficult for gaming companies, and why, let's say, new gaming companies fail nowadays, is they aren't able to get enough users, so they aren't able to do the user acquisition well. And I think Habbo hasn't really done that in the last few years. Uh, and it's in some ways easier on mobile, because when you do TikTok ads or memes on Instagram, stuff like that, it's so much easier for you to install the app on your mobile instead of asking you, okay, now please come to Habbo.com and register and then go to your PC and start playing. It doesn't really work. So if we have a good mobile client, that will help grow the Habbo, because we are able to then do more efficient user acquisition and get more players into the game. So that's one reason
Oh.
why the mobile version of Habbo is well, quite high priority.
That's exciting. No, and I did not know that roughly 30% of player base is on mobile because I travel a lot for work myself. I do like almost 100 flights a year, and when I travel, like obviously I have my phone next to me, and it just makes life a lot easier to just dive into the game, maybe buy a rare that I want, or play a game, or get a badge, or do something, right, just to pass off time, right? When it comes to the game itself on the mobile aspect of it, I do like the idea of what you're saying in terms of trying to do like mini games. Because what I envision is like, let's say like in Origins right now we have fishing, right? For example, I could envision .com having fishing as well, like or like an activity like that, like a mini game that can work really well on the mobile side. Obviously, anything can work well on the PC side, but if there is something that can allow the player base to just play something, kind of like as if they're playing like Angry Birds or something else on their phone, but have it like built into what Habbo.com offers, then I think it can get like you can get to like a nice level of where people will enjoy it and then keep coming back to playing it more. So I like what I'm hearing in terms of the mobile aspect. And you are right. I've built rooms, or I've tried to build rooms on the mobile side. It's a lot easier on the PC, obviously. Just the screen size of and all that, being able to move things, stack things, is just a lot more painless. Like when I play on mobile, I'm always playing like I'm doing all of the like badges, or I'm just doing like the those mini games that people are building, and then that's really it. Or I'm trying to answer people's messages like that are DMing me, right? So I like what I'm hearing there. Now, in terms of Habbo, Origins is on Steam right now and not on mobile. Is there any? I've heard that, and correct me if I'm wrong. There's no way that Habbo.com can be on Steam, correct? Because of the collectible sides of the business.
That's my understanding as well. So that is
Okay.
one issue there. Now, Origins on Steam, I think it was a really good idea for McAfee to get it there. Especially again the user acquisition side of things and marketing side of things. It's so much easier to direct players to Steam versus your own
Yeah.
website. So that's one reason. I would like to see if at some point Steam changes their policy so that we could be on Steam. But until then, I think Epic Games would be the only option for us, and not sure if that is worth the effort. Epic is
Mm.
fine, but it's not Steam.
Yeah, no, Steam is Steam at the end of the day. Like when Maccabee brought Origins to Steam, like the idea came from like everyone who's a gamer knows Steam, right? And the concept of having Habbo on Steam is very different. It's exciting. It's unexpected, I would say. Like I talked to some friends who just came back, and I haven't talked to them in 25 years since the game like first released. So, sorry, 20 years ago when I first started playing. So when they came back and I saw them in a room, and I was just like, "Why did you come back? Like, what's your reasoning? What caught your eye?" And they mentioned it was a Steam ad. Like it was like that literally popped, and they're like, "Yeah, it's." They're like, we didn't know this game existed, like, but now I know it existed because of this ad. And then I have other friends that are coming back because of collaborations you guys are doing, such as the Neopets one. That Neopets collaboration, by the way, is genius. I think whoever had it, whoever made it work out, if it was you or the team or whatever, thumbs up. That was huge, right? Because it's kind of like a match made in heaven of pure nostalgia, right? Like it's two games that literally grew up in my childhood, anyways, and it's something that we all think about, right? And nostalgia is probably the word that comes up a lot nowadays because of games that get remastered. Halo's coming back next year, being remastered again or remade in such a way. Movies come back time and time again. TV shows come back. So it's nice to see this match made happen. Now, in terms of the Epic Games, I do agree with you. Like it's not Steam. Like I don't think it's worth it. Plus, I don't know a lot of people that even use Epic Games launcher, to be honest with you, to really like get it get in there for a majority of their games at all. So hopefully that happens in the future. Now, obviously, Maccabee makes the decision. Were there Are there any thoughts on Origins going on mobile? Like in your mind, maybe you don't have an answer yourself, but like in your idea, do you see that concept making sense?
That would need to be experimented. And having said that, I don't even know if the tech that we use currently would allow that. Uh,
Gotcha.
I don't I don't want to spend time on, let's say, making a Unity version of Origins. I think that would be a
Yeah.
bad idea.
Yeah.
So Origins is
Yeah.
based on the very old, is it Shockwave
Yeah.
tech that Maccleby and the community together are putting together. So please correct me if I'm wrong, but my assumption is that it really doesn't work on mobile.
Well, it's a I say yes and no. So, for example, for me, I utilize the remote desktop. So when I'm away and I'm not away for too long, I'll leave my computer on and then I utilize like Google Remote Desktop, and then that way it can mirror my computer experience onto my phone or my tablet, for example. And then I'll use like my stylus or whatever I have to buy the rare, chat with people, or just do the gardening, like things that are easy, kind of like the mini game stuff, like fishing, very easy because you can just click on the shadows and get the job done. So I want to say yes and no. I think visually it might be tough because the everything is so much smaller than on Habbo.com, where you can kind of zoom in and things can get bigger. It's scalable apart from Origins. One idea I gave to Maccabee, and I think he's looking into it, is, and I don't know if you're familiar with it, but cloud gaming with GeForce Now, that works with Steam, right? And if you're able to figure out if that tech can work, then GeForce Now could be the solution for mobile gaming, because that'd be allowing the user to bring their Steam games, including Origins, or and I guess Hotel Hideaways on Steam now too, bringing those two games into the mobile experience without actually having a mobile app, right? So that can kind of give you an idea if it's even worth it, or if it's even possible, right? Because I know personally, when I played like Destiny 2, obviously it's easier to play an FPS shooter on mobile, but allowing me to bring my Steam library through GeForce Now for free, because they have like a free pass, and then if you want a higher quality you pay a little bit more. I think it could be worthwhile for the Habbo experience, at least to test it, right? And then it could open the door to other things.
No, that's definitely interesting. I'm not against getting Origins on mobile. That's again a good way to increase the player numbers and getting more people into the game if it's easy to install and easy to start with.
Hmm.
And we just need to see how it works there. Is it worthwhile?
Yeah, no, 100%. I totally agree with you. And in terms of, obviously, you never played Habbo before your time. Is it weird seeing Origins? Because Origins is essentially what you missed out on when you were in university. Like, does the visual identity of Origins, which is like those niche designs, those unique colors, do you compare it with Habbo.com at all? Or do you go, this is Origins, this is their design, this is Habbo, this is their design. Let's keep it a little bit separate. Like, what's your thoughts on the overall design and concept between both games?
I definitely want to keep it separate. I don't see point making, let's say, Habbo too much of Origins, and definitely not the other way around. I
Hmm.
wanted to keep like the feel of the early 2000s in Origins, and
Nice.
I just, well, let's say collectibles, it doesn't fit in Origins. I don't see any
Correct.
reason
Yeah.
to bring them to Origins, and so let's just keep it, let's say, it's simple and also unique looking, because it looks different than Habbo. Not much different, but still different. So I want it to be recognizable also.
Yeah, it's iconic at the end of the day. Like the design itself, what people remember from the past, like even looking at both games, because I play both games myself. They're very different, but I loved your answer. Like, and I'm sure people listening to this will like the fact that you're saying let's keep both separate, especially the design of Origins. Let's keep that, staying back in the 2000s. I think people will appreciate that comment a lot. In terms of collectibles as well. There is the Habbo X like hotel. Is that like just there now, and then you're kind of bringing collectibles into Habbo.com? Because I've noticed that transition kind of being focused in where now you can kind of see your inventory, you could see things, you can mint things, you could trade now even, right? Is that kind of just now getting ingrained in Habbo.com?
I wanted to be, I would say, stronger part of Habbo, like Habbo.com, the classic Habbo, and being a seamless part of Habbo experience. So how I've seen collectibles for last 2 years at least is that the collectibles are the premium Habbo items, and the
Mm-hmm.
reason for that is that and this is the message that I've been trying to get across is that you own these items. And the cool thing is that when you own these items, basically you can go and sell them. I've used this example a few times, but back in the day means about 2010-ish,
Mm-hmm.
I played lots of Magic the Gathering online. I spent literal thousands of euros on that game, and uh, at some point it just let's say became too stressful. I got too frustrated with the game, with mana screws and floods and everything related to that game, that I felt like the RNG wasn't with me, and I just decided that okay, this is enough. I just cannot play this game anymore. I had my quite large card collection. I spent, let's say 3 to 4 thousand euros on it, and I was able to get about 2,000 euros back by selling the items. And that was the first time that I realized that this is how games actually should work. So if you're spending money on the game, you should be able to get something back of it. I'm not saying that this is an investment and you need to make money out of it. No, definitely not. But getting at least something back from your collections, and that's why I always loved the Web3 aspect of things. So the ownership and the fact that when you have these collectible items, when you have the Black Throne as a collectible item, it's there. And if at some point you figure out that okay, this isn't my thing anymore, I have had enough of Habbo, I just want to move on. You can go and sell them and get some of your investment back. Okay, investment again, wrong word, but getting some of your money back from the game, and well, be happier than getting none of it back. This was in early 21 when the NFT started really going up, and I started with NBA Top Shot collecting those. I thought that this is one of the most stupidest thing ever out there. So why would I spend money on some virtual cards? But when I realized that hey, I actually own these and can sell these, then I started thinking how well this would fit in the gaming. I've been actually quite surprised. I was so sure back in the day in 21 that this would become a more popular thing in gaming, that there would be like the biggest games would actually start incorporating the Web3 aspects and the ownership aspects. Of course, then the whole NFT bubble happened
Mm-hmm.
when the prices went through the roof and it became, well, not healthy, let's say it that way. Uh, and I think that was the reason why people started hating NFTs. But I still believe that the aspect of ownership, that you actually own these assets and can go and sell them, trade them, and basically even if let's say you are banned from the game. So I have quite a lot of skins in Fortnite, and what happens if I get banned? Well, bye bye. That's it then.
True.
I hope that they unban me. But with collectibles, you don't lose your collection. You can move it, sell it, or move it to another account and try to behave on that account.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that it gives uh, more to the players, and that's why I still believe in collectibles, and that's why I think that they are premium aspect or premium items in Habbo to own. And I'm a big collector myself, so I collect starting with hockey cards back in the day.
Oh,
In
nice.
in 95, I have quite a lot of shinies from that era. So uh, basically, I love collecting, and that's basically one reason why I became the product director of collectibles because I think I understand the collecting aspect quite well and I love to collect. So that became the collectibles, and I want to bring that also to Habbo. And more and more, and I also play quite a lot of other mobile games, like just to experiment with and see where the space is going. So let's say Monopoly Go, they also have a collecting aspect. You collect stickers there. So collecting is an important part for from game design perspective. So that gives players also reason to come back.
True.
And what is a better thing to collect than something that you actually own and can then, uh, for example, sell if you so choose.
That's actually the concept of like the way you're explaining it makes sense, right? Like when it comes to owning things and even Fortnite, like I have a friend that owns every single Fortnite skin, and if he were to get banned today, he would probably cry, to be honest with you, with the amount of money he spent into it. But you're right. Like the game is very focused on collecting, like in general, right? Like I've even noticed in the collectible side now there's a different packages, right? Like collect all of these things and then you'll get this reward if you own all of these things. And I I've seen that and I go, it makes sense because the game itself, and like you mentioned with Monopoly Go, there's a lot of games that focus on these targets. Collect this, and you'll get rewarded even more for your time and effort, right? So I do like the aspect, like when I dabbled into collectibles, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna be straight up. I thought it was a terrible idea. I was just like, why is this? Like, kind of like what you said in the beginning. Like, why am I going to put my money into this? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, I couldn't wrap my head around it myself. And I go, then I walked around the hotel. I didn't really care too much about the items, to be quite honest with you, with minting, and I didn't really care about selling or getting my money back because I've already given years and decades of my money to Habbo, so I don't think I'll ever even come close to getting anything back or my parents' money back when I first played. But I will say, I'll admit, the zombie outfit got me. So I know you have the zombie avatar as well, and I have the zombie one, and I saw someone walking around with it, and that got me hooked. And I go, man, that person looks cool walking around, and then you see someone else with something, and then someone else with something. Okay, how do they get this? Well, the only way to get it is by having, it's more of a it's an NFT essentially, right? And I'm gonna be honest, the clothing and the avatar designs got me hooked, and then I bought one and then I bought another, and then I crafted them together, and I started learning about that. And then the fact that you can earn emeralds, which is pretty cool. So you're earning emeralds every day, and then you can like rack it up and then utilize that for different types of furnitures that you guys release each month. Not gonna lie, it got me anyways. Like I don't know if it gets a lot of people out there. I don't know. I don't know if the player base is really invested into collectibles, but I know it got me like personally. It's yeah. It makes sense afterwards.
Yeah, it's not definitely for everyone, and I understand that, and it's fine. But it's for some part of the player base, and some part of the player base really love it. So that's where we are focusing on. It's not our main thing what we are
Hmm.
focusing on. Let's say the development, it's part of it, but only a very small part of it. Let's say 20% of the work that is being done on Habbo is done on collectibles.
Okay, that's interesting. And in terms of the player base, how much of the player base is really investing their time on collectibles? Would you say? Would you say like 30%? Like would you say half the player base is like investing their time into collectibles?
It depends what you mean by that. So we have had these seasonal events where you can get collectibles. So there we get
True.
higher percentages, closer to let's say 50%. Then if we are talking about spending emeralds, that's quite limiting already because there's only 10,000 avatars and only a few thousand own those. So that's then only a small percentage of players because it's so gated, let's put it that way.
Hmm.
So it depends which aspect you are looking for, and I would like to find ways to get people more involved in that, or getting it easier for people to start collecting. The main issue there, which we have found with the seasonal events, is botting, and that's something we haven't yet solved.
Mm.
And you cannot give free stuff in Habbo because then there are 10,000 bots that get everything. And if we are ever able to figure that out, it's easier to start giving, let's say, free collectibles to the normal players.
Yeah, like when it comes to the emerald side of it, I will admit it was a little bit confusing for me in the beginning. So when I bought mine, I think about 2 years ago, it wasn't easy. Like I had to like ask a lot of people questions, and thankfully there's the Discord and people in games to kind of like guide me. But I have seen improvements there. I think you guys released a video about a year ago on YouTube. I think someone designed it, and it's definitely gotten easier to like understand like the purpose of collectibles. But I will say in the beginning it was a little bit confusing. But I agree with you. I think the botting, yeah, it's even in Origins, to be honest with you. I think botting's in a lot of games, to be frank. But
Yeah.
I think if you guys can figure that out, I think people would love to see free collectibles from time to time.
If you're able to figure that out, yes.
Yeah.
Not an easy thing. Every time we give something for free, then it's mostly bots that get it.
Yeah, I
But
remember
I
that.
definitely, yeah, sorry, I definitely admit that there has been challenges to how we present the whole collectibles, and I think there still are problems with that. It's not clear. We have designs made actually about improving the collectibles website, improving or getting more videos, getting more information out there, maybe making it more easy to start with. But that's now waiting for developers to have time to actually work on it. So let's hope that we are able to improve that aspect. But ideally, I would like that everything would work, at least the starting the collectibles path would happen in Habbo without you even having to care about that this is a collectible item or is this a normal item. You just have items, then you get something really cool and somebody says that, hey, did you know that you can sell this for 10 euros? Then you start caring and then you can start doing more stuff related to that. But the very beginning of that path should be easier, and that should happen inside the game. That's something that we are trying to improve also going forward.
No, that's exciting. I think that'll make people's times a little bit easier in terms of understanding. Even for myself, like I still dabble, like from time to time. I think the Black Throne was very smart to say the least, because it's very nostalgia, it hits everyone, but then it kind of makes sense because now you can own it as well. And I've minted pretty much all of my valuables, like my thrones, my dragons, obviously. Like why wouldn't I? My typewriter, things like that. So I could see the value in it, and I like that you're saying that there is going to be some sort of concept developed or at least worked on to make it easier for people to kind of get into it, right? A little bit more. Now, in terms of the collectible side, that's one thing, but you've also dabbled in collectibles limited time releases, like the LTDs, right? So you kind of mix both ideas together there. Could you talk more about like where that concept came from in terms of now providing a limited number of collectibles for specific furniture items, and then you did a concept where people kind of like buy a ticket, and then it gets raffled into a system, and then a certain number of people now get this rare rather than first come first serve. Could you dive into it deeper in terms of that concept?
Well, to start with, the first come first served has been really problematic in many places. Starting with the LTDs in Habbo, for the longest time those went to bots. So they were botting, and not those people who should get them actually got them. I really don't want bots to getting them. Same issue was originally in NBA Top Shot, and then they moved it, changed the into a queue system where you have to wait in line for 2 hours and hope that they don't run out. That was bad as well. So based on those, we started thinking how we could do it better, and that's why we got this raffle system, so that you sort of buy a ticket, you get your money back or the emeralds back if you don't win it. So it's not an actual raffle; it's just that I want to buy this. And actually, after us, if I remember correctly, we did this first, and then NBA Top Shot also did a similar system. So basically. if you are lucky, you get it. If there are more people wanting to get that than there are actually the supply of that item. Why we do these limited editions? I think those are also exciting. So LTDs have been very popular in Habbo, and we wanted to do similar thing for collectibles, and that's part of the, I would say, excitement is to get one of those limited edition items. So we have had to iterate with the design of the raffle system. Uh, because one problem has also been that it's beneficial for you to move everything you own to like 10 different wallets, and then you have 10 different chances. So to combat that, we have updated the system. I don't remember if we have done any recently where we have had this updated system, but it takes now your collector level into account, or collector
Mm.
XP. I don't remember which one, but regardless, if you are a high level, you are more likely to get one, and then it doesn't give you benefit to move them to different wallets. So there's always these lessons learned when we try something first. Then okay, this was a huge problem. We need to do these types of improvements, and then we improve, and then there might be another problem, and then we improve. So let's see how this iteration works. Hopefully, it works better than the previous one, when the issue was that there were the high level collectors didn't get it, but those who used tons of wallets got more than one. So I wasn't happy about that the last time.
No, and I'm glad you're saying things like this because it's a fact. Like bots ruin the game for others at the end of the day, and I do like the aspect of like having a higher level system for like players to like have just a better chance on getting things or getting entered into these events, so to speak. Like I'm currently level 15 or 16 if I'm not mistaken. I can't get to level 20. I'm sorry. It's just too hard for me. I can't just make it. It's I didn't start early enough to dabble into it in those early stages. But congrats for anyone listening. If you're level 20, congrats. Like well done. One idea that I did like that your team did was the monthly collectible rewards. If you're level 15, for example, you get like these three rewards. If you're level 20, you get an extra reward. You've been doing that every month. I think the last one was a swords, that wall item. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna be honest with you. That was a nice addition. Probably my favorite addition recently for collectibles, just because it gives you more of a reason to be at a high level. Because other than that, I didn't really understand the leveling system so much because I didn't know what else it would give me, other than the more stuff I have, like the more avatars or the more rooms I have, then the more emeralds I can accumulate. But I do appreciate that design element. Now, in speaking on LTDs, I don't know if you or your team have ever mentioned this prior, or if this idea came in. Are there any plans to mint LTDs in the game, or you want to keep that separate? Like we want to just have these version of LTDs and collectibles, and that's it, and not worry about minting the ones currently in the game, kind of like the original Pink Dragon.
That's something when we introduced the relic system, we discussed a lot. If I remember correctly, we implemented that feature, but we are basically too scared to do that. So that is a huge risk. I remember back in the day when we first introduced this whole relic system, was that there was lots of discussion that these will crash the in-game market prices of the items when you can take one and bring them to another hotel and do stuff like this. Last time I checked, it was the opposite, that it actually benefits the prices. So I don't know if we want to come back to that and rethink that, but we haven't discussed the LTDs and relics in a while because it's quite risky to do that. I guess many people would be, if not angry, at least scared that what does it mean to my LTD.
Yeah, and I guess that makes sense, but especially since a lot of the LTDs previously was botted, right? Like a lot of those ones, the same person kept getting it, let's say, right? So I can understand the fear that can come along with it, and I don't know what my opinion on it is like in this moment, but maybe for anyone listening in to this video, maybe feel free to let us know in the comments in terms of like what your thoughts are on there. Now, in terms of the vision of collectibles, it's come a long way. Like to be honest with you, there's been a lot of improvements over the years. What's the future hold for collectibles? What do you envision? What do you hope it gets to in the long run?
Well, we are still missing features in the game. I don't know when we have the time to actually implement those. I would say the first up will be, well, bigger marketplace improvements overall, not just collectibles, but the marketplace. I know that is something that the community wants to see. Hopefully, we have time next year, early next year, to start working on that. And while we are doing that, I would like to add collectibles as part of the in-game marketplace, so you can buy and sell within the game collectibles. Then we are missing, let's say, crafting, collectibles, recycling, stuff like that. I don't know yet if we have ever the resources to bring them into the game. I would very much love to do that. I think everything you can do on the website you should be able to do in the game. But this goes back to the same old resources question that we are quite a small team in the end, so we have to focus on specific things. Uh, so I would say short to mid term, I would like to get these things into the game. Improving the website, we have designs for that. Uh, and short term is the, I don't know if you have heard about it, but we need to switch the blockchains from IMX to the their newer, shinier version of IMX, and that's happening sometime. My guess is first quarter of next year, depending when IMX says that okay, you really need to do it now. We are trying to find ways to make it less impactful for players. Hopefully, we are able to do cash sponsorship ourselves, that players don't have to pay the transaction fees and stuff like that. But let's see how that goes. The IMX isn't easy on that front. But regardless, I think that is the main thing that we are both focusing on. Then improving the website, improving the features. We have ideas what we could introduce in terms of features to the collectibles. We have been coming up with ideas for the past 4 years. Is it 4 years already with the collectibles? So we have long list of stuff that we would like to do. We just need to pick the stuff that we will focus on first. And part of these are things that we could bring to Habbo, like the regular version as well. Just an example, not saying this will be coming anytime soon or ever, but something that is now, at least on my mind, is a badge display, for example. I want the
Mm,
badges to be something, collectibles badges especially, that you can show off in your room. And if I remember correctly, I might be completely mistaken here, but when you buy a badge display currently, you have to pick the badge and you cannot change it. I might be wrong here,
correct.
but
Yeah, you
I
can't change
want
it
it to
after.
be, yeah. So I would like to change that so that you can choose whichever badge you have, and then also display these collectible badges, and basically making it a little bit more valuable for you to that these badges that you have collected, see the normal badges and collectibles badges. Just an example of stuff that we have in the backlog, some ideas that we haven't really refined yet, don't know yet if it's a good idea or not, but stuff like this is always on the table that we want to think about and maybe bring into the game also.
No, that's exciting. I like the idea of badges being displayed. I personally like have a ton of my favorite badges in the game right now that I've displayed myself. So having the concept of bringing in collectibles badges into the game is honestly that's different. Like I personally like that because I personally have not really dabbled or really cared about badges for on the collectible side, to be quite honest. So having it in the game itself a little bit more visual where you can display it in a room, that actually piques my interest a little bit, right? And I do like the concept that you're saying where whatever you can do on the collectibles website, you should be able to do in the game, right? And that way it's just like a one-stop shop, one solution for all your needs. And I do like that aspect. Now, we've talked a lot about the collectible side, the game itself. If you were to pick like one thing that you're truly proud of, your favorite thing, like what's one thing that really stands out to you that you can say like I love this? And I know it's a tough one. That's a tough question.
I was just about to say that's an easy question
Oh, it's
to
an easy one. Oh, it's
answer.
an easy one. Oh,
No,
okay.
no, no, I was being sarcastic.
Oh,
So
okay.
one thing that comes to mind is the seeing the impact. This is a very small change, but and this was a time when I was running the collectible side of things. So this is a little bit boring for those who love Habbo and don't care about collectibles. But the on the collectible side of things, I don't know if you were part of the collectibles community then, but a few years ago, still, I don't remember, was it 2 or 3 years ago? Uh, there weren't collections; there were just the collectibles. So you had a long list of stuff that you owned, and it didn't really give you a reason to own these. You just owned them and that's it. And then I designed, and then we were able to introduce it. It's pretty much exactly, I think, 3 years ago. It was around Christmas time when we brought it. So the collections aspect of it. So each and every item belongs to a collection. And I remember seeing the number of trades, number of purchases in the secondary market when we introduced that. It went well, quite a lot higher. People were buying them more, and it made more sense. And this because I'm a collector by heart, so I collect stuff. And when I looked at it, it really got me like collecting even more so of these collectibles because now I saw what I have, what I'm missing, and basically give me a reason to actually own every single item from that collection. This is a little bit boring answer from Habbo point of view, but being a collector and being the director of the project at that time, I think that had a big impact on the collecting aspect of everything in Habbo collectibles. And sure, it's not the prettiest thing that you can see, but compared to what it used to be, it's so much better than it was. So it also introduced the collector levels and collector XP and stuff like that. So it was the first step to making collectibles into a more, let's say, gaming aspect, like having a core loop around around everything. So I would say during my time, especially with Habbo and with being a director, I think that's the thing that comes up first. The other really cool things, so something this goes to Magleby, but the origins overall, the whole project, how it came about, how we were able to get it out quickly, how successful it has been, and especially how much it has improved throughout the first year and a half. So that's, I would say, my second favorite thing of my time here with Habbo.
Nice. No, that's awesome. That's huge. I think when it comes to those aspects, it makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? And when it comes to Origins itself, I'll be honest. Like that's been it's eh, it's crazy to think that this game came out last June, right? And it's already a year and a half in. And I can be honest here, the first few, the first 6 months wasn't the best, right? But year over year, it's got to a level that really makes sense. It's turning more into like a game experience, giving more of a reason to come back. There's more things to do, a lot more things to do now. I used to be a gardening hater in the beginning. I was just like, I'm not gonna plant. Why would I plant? Like I don't care. And then suddenly I'm addicted now, and now I have like 100 trees in my room, and I just can't I can't get enough of it, right? So I do like where the Origins game has head, and obviously that's been my favorite thing about it. And I think the reason I like that game is the nostalgia, but it is the community itself, right? Like this podcast wouldn't be what it is without people asking for more, and people complimenting it or liking certain aspects and the discussions, because in a game like Habbo, you don't really get this. You don't get to hear the tones or the explanation or the ideas really come off in a way. Because I know a lot of what you guys do is you guys write a letter. I know you did your 25th anniversary. I know you wrote that up a couple months back. And then there's no, it's hard to read the tone or understand the person. You know what I mean? So I think this has been my favorite thing is the community aspect, listening to different people and understanding that. On the other side, on the .com side with collectibles, I think my favorite thing with that has to be It has to be the items. I don't know. It's something about the items. Like it's the whether it's on the collectible side or the game itself. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I told this to Samra. The bone dragon that got me good. That was one of the coolest designs ever, and also the skeleton. Oh my god, that got me, man.
Yeah, we are the same. My favorite item is the bone dragon. I really love it. It's really good.
The bone dragon. My god. At first, I was just like, when I saw it, I was like, I didn't want to spend so much money on it, to be honest. I was like, I hope it's like inexpensive. But then in my mind too, I'm just like, well, thankfully it's a decent price. I'm gonna buy a couple. Like I want this right away. You know what I mean? And when it came to this aspect, it was such a cool design. And then once you brought in the skeleton, like being able to customize the outfit and wear clothes and hair and whatever, I probably won't take that off. I'm not gonna be honest. Just I have the zombie for my crafted avatar with collectibles, and then I have my skeleton in the game itself, and that's been fun. Maybe I have a horror fetish. Who knows? But in terms of the origin side, have you logged on? Have you dabbled in it, or are you strictly? I'm just gonna focus on collectibles and Habbo.com.
I tried it every once in a while, and I see internally what Makopi is cooking and what's coming up and what he's been working on. And unfortunately, I don't have enough time to spend on Origins. I'm a huge believer in this eat your own dog food. So that's why I buy quite a lot of collectibles, test how it works, go to habbo.com and see if the items work there. When we release well Black Throne on when we have a seasonal currency event, I went and go there and test everything, see how it works, is it fun or not, and then that's the best way to understand how things work. I would like to have more time on Origins, but I unfortunately don't have, so I leave that to Magleby and trust his judgment and trust the community as well. What I really love about Origins is that it's so much community led in a sense that there's lots of feedback coming from community, and we have been actually taking our lessons from that to Habbo, and we are running many things with the council that we have on our Discord and getting feedback from the people who are part of the council. We increased the number of people there. It started with the collectibles people, and then they were the first ones, and then we added other people there. But getting feedback from them, we are doing that quite a bit, and actually taking the feedback from them. I'm just gonna give a quick example of that. Uh, I don't remember what was the thing that we asked them, but they were saying that you should focus on fixing the game first before. I think it might have been the emojis announcement and getting feedback about that, and fix the game first. And that's something that we started then discussing with the council, and I wanted to get feedback. What are exactly the pain points that we need to fix? And that basically gave us a roadmap for next year where we want to focus on and what we want to fix. And one is definitely the marketplace, and then there are some additional things that we are taking to the next year's roadmap. But just an example how important the community actually is to us.
That's huge. I think that's honestly refreshing to hear because I think that's the only way a game can really survive, right? Like you want the community, you kind of want to bounce ideas back and forth, and it's 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 definitely different. But I like that I'm seeing it more on the Habbo.com side because we do it a lot on the Origins, as you mentioned, like submitting ideas. We probably are a very overly passionate group at on the Origin side, to say the least. But I do like what Maccabee has listened to and implemented, and then we do like the polling from time to time, and that's been something good to see in terms of like what people want in the game and what people don't want in the game. So I do like that aspect of it, and I think you guys don't really dabble it on the other game. I know you do like regular polls, but I don't think you really poll features, right? You just kind of let the player base know what's coming into the game. Now, in terms of the Origin side being more 18 plus, right? That's the target audience. That's what it is. On the Habbo.com, are you ever thinking about in the future down the line of increasing that to a similar output, or you like that one game is this age group entry, this game is this entry, Hotel Hideaway is this entry? Is that where your mind is?
That's actually a very interesting question. Something we are now actively discussing. Now, I think, uh, well, let's go back a little bit. So, in Brazil and in, I think, Texas and in some US states, there's legislation coming next year where we need to do stronger age verification.
Right. Right.
And if we have underage people, then moderation, parental controls, in-app purchases, everything needs to be more controlled. Parent needs to be able to say for underage people, yes or no. Do you want to see chat? Do you can for each and every purchase can this kid buy this thing? And
Mm,
because of that, we are now discussing that where do we want to go? Do we want to be 18 plus game, or do we want to implement all of these things and then when we have those then we would have the I would say market more towards the teens, maybe even younger, depending where we want to be with that. We haven't made the decision yet, uh, and the age verification system will be well problematic from user experience point of view, so we need to see how those different systems work. uh, my gut feeling currently is that at least to start with we would become 18 plus game. uh,
cool.
I think we are mostly already, so I think there's only a handful of players who aren't adults. So I don't think that will have a huge impact, and that would make the lives easier. But then again, there's like legal aspects. Legal department needs to tell us that what exactly does it mean? What are the things we need to do in the game to actually be compliant on that front? Where do we need to have age verification? Where is it enough to have this self-declaration that I solemnly swear that I am 18 plus, stuff like this. So this is a discussion that is actually ongoing now. So that's why it's a really interesting question. Having said that, if we want to at some point, I think this is time if we ever get a new owner, if Azerion ever sells Sulake, is able to sell Sulaka, let's put it that way,
Hmm.
and that new owner wants to actually invest and wants to become the next Roblox, it would need to be, I don't know, 7+ game probably. Because that's how I see how these games actually grow. It's word of mouth in the schoolyard, kids playing with their friends. And if we go that route, then there needs to be, I would say, completely different moderation systems, parental controls, and very strict for the kids. Of course, the adult version, if you age verify, if you are 18 plus, then it's a different ballgame. Then we can keep the current Habbo. But this is actually a very topical discussion, and because the laws are coming in next year in several different places in the world, I'm expecting EU at some point in the near future to also make similar decision regulation, that there needs to be more strict parental controls and also maybe even an actual age verification. But let's see how that goes. But like I said, the some US states are actually already implementing this.
Yeah, and I expect like I'm from Canada, and I expect that the same. Like we kind of follow what the U.S. does from time to time, since we're so close to them. But yeah, I agree. And this is interesting. That's an interesting concept in terms of where the game can head, and it can head in multiple directions, and depending on the player base, depending on the regulations, depending on what the vision is. If, like you mentioned, if a Zerion ends up like selling, if they can even sell Sulake, then what that looks like in the future. So I appreciate the insight, and it's I guess we'll wait and see in terms of what the game ends up looking like in the near future. You mentioned the moderation side of it. Right now, both games, the Origin side and the regular Hotel, has a bit of like AI moderation. I know you guys have a ticket system in the Habbo.com side, and I don't know if I'm even allowed to ask this, but we could always we could always block it off in the recording here. But the question I have, and that I'm sure some people are listening to and wondering about, is in-game moderation. That was something that we had back in the day, obviously in the early years. And I know the team you mentioned at the beginning, the team is not a big team. It's a small team, not a lot of resources. Could you dive a deeper in terms of the moderation, like in terms of, are you happy where it's at? Are there improvements coming? I know there's a ticket system now, which I'll be honest, I really like. I like that now you could see when you submit a ticket what the status of it is. So that's really good to see. I hope to see that actually on the Origin side, to be quite honest with you. Um, yeah, if you want to just dive into that a little bit more.
Well, we have, I would say, three different systems. One is the AI moderation that tracks the chat. That has been problematic, and we are actually changing the partners. Well, we are building our own system now. I expect that to be considerably better than it has been. So there has been lots of problems with the in-game moderation. Basically, the system has been marking stuff inappropriate that actually isn't, and that's basically the partner's fault. And oh, we have fought with them so much. So we are now switching to our own system very, very soon. The other system is the call for help system. So if you see somebody doing something, you want to report it, then there's the reporting system. We are doing some updates to that as well, changing the flow a little bit. Nothing major shouldn't happen, but work in progress there. And then we have the ticketing system. So if you had a problem, let's say you didn't get your items that you purchased or stuff like that. So we have these different systems, and all of which are being worked on. It has been a long time since we last touched them. And one reason why we are working on this, there's the, again, laws and regulations. So EU has had this DSA that we had to comply with, and we have done things because of that, and we are still working on improving these systems. Same goes for the when the law comes for the underage versus adult players, so we need to make a more robust systems. uh, so work is being done on all of those fronts, and lots of work is happening there, which is sort of good but also a little bit unfortunate, because we have to, in the past few years we have had so many different things that we have been working on because of laws and regulations. And we have a small team, so it is taking a lot of time from other improvements, like in-game improvements. So if we have to take the, let's say, GDPR was something that the team spent probably a year to get it done. Then the DSA was another that the team has spent lots of, I think, over a year also, like man months, working on. Now there's the age verifications. So those aren't really player facing. They are a little bit sure, but only when you have a problem. It doesn't improve the player engagement or the gameplay. So that's why I'm saying it's a little bit unfortunate that we have to spend time on those things. But it is what it is, and that's something that, like I said, we are also working on, and it's a high priority. And I would say throughout the next year, even this year, there will be some updates to
That's
all of
exciting.
those
No,
things.
that's huge. I that's music to my ears. Just understanding that that is, at least in your mindset, in the team's mindset in terms of like what the goals are. The in terms of the moderation systems that are going to be updating, is that going to be happening for all the games that your team works on, like Hotel Hideaway, Origins, as well as .com, or is it primarily just for .com?
It should come to all the games that we have.
Nice. Oh, nice. That's exciting. Now, in terms of the origin side, obviously Maccabee is pretty much the sole person, and I know there's a lot of cross, with people coming over helping. Like Strong Handle has designed a couple things, for example, and things like that. Are there goals in mind to, obviously this all comes down to money at the end of the day, but are there goals in mind where to grow the team itself? Obviously we always want to grow the player base. That's inevitable. Obviously that is a goal for any business. But is there a goal to grow the team itself, on any of the games in general?
I mentioned earlier the Azerion, and that they are basically looking for buyers. So we are in a, let's say, difficult place because of that they have announced in their second quarter report that they are basically selling us. That's how I at least understood it. And because of that, you might guess how much willing they are to start investing into us. So that's why we have to just wait and see what the new owners have in store for us. If I ever get to talk with them before they buy, I'm gonna be really vocal about that. Habbo, Origins, and Hideaway need investment. It doesn't make sense to just buy us just because to own the brand. You really want to spend money, increase the team, and then at least increase the marketing and user acquisition budgets to get the players in there. And I'm I'm really hoping that some good gaming company buys us. We were so excited back in the day when the Orange Games bought us because it was a gaming company. We were owned by the telecom company in Finland, and nothing bad about them, but they weren't the right fit because they were a telecom company. They didn't know what to do with the gaming company, and now a new owner is a gaming company. So we were excited. They had lots of games. Now they can invest, they can do stuff, they know what they're doing. And a few years later, they are not at tech company. So that was a pivot that was unfortunate for us, and that's why we have been sort of sidelined on their strategy ever since. So I'm really hoping that the new owners, if we ever get ones, they are able to actually drive the growth that the Habbo deserves. All of our games deserve.
That's music to my ears. That's awesome to hear because when it comes to the games itself, there's different communities. They're all passionate. We all care at the end of the day, and we wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here, if we didn't care about any of the games that we play, right? In general. So I do also hope that the next owners, whenever that happens, if that happens, that it is a gaming company. Is there any gaming company? Maybe you can't even say it, but do you don't have to say the name of it, but do you have one in mind that you go? I hope this is the company that would take us.
No, I'm in the state at the moment that please anyone.
Anyone?
No, I don't have anything in mind, so I just wait and see
That's good.
what happens.
And I do like the aspect that you're mentioning about marketing. Like I personally work in marketing for the past over a decade now, and with me traveling different parts of the country and so forth, it's nice to see that the goal of the game is to market it, obviously, because the only way to get word of mouth is to get the ads out there, get the vision out there, get the illustrations out there. One other aspect that I haven't heard you mention yet, and I just want to ask it, and then we'll near the end of this podcast, anyways. But one thing that I want to ask you is merchandise, right? Like, what about the merchandise? I've noticed with like Neopets, for example, Neopets has come back. They came back strong the past couple of years, and they've done a lot of merch. When I went to Comic Con, for example, I saw Neopets stuff, in certain booths. Are there any plans on the merchandise aspect, or is that just coming down to just kind of like right now you have to wait to see what a Azerion does?
There are plans. We have been working on it. We were hoping to get uh, a batch of merchandising out for the anniversary event. It didn't happen basically because the partner we were talking with ran out of stock of the basically the hoodies and stuff that we were working on. Now we are looking that is this the right fit? Again, this goes to the resources that many people have to have several hats, so they are working on several different things. So merchandising is a little bit in the sidelines now that the new marketing person is starting. I'm hoping that she can pick it up, or then somebody else in the team, but it's definitely in the plans. I understand how actually surprisingly big Habbo brand is, and I would say that my end goal is that Habbo, you can see Habbo brand, Habbo t-shirts, Habbo hoodies, Habbo shirts, hats, whatever, in your local supermarkets or whatever clothing stores you walk by. We have this small, well, actually in Finnish standards, quite big. Um, Tokmanni is it is called. It's a uh, chain. Chain of stores, and they have this. It's sort of the cheap end type of stuff, but they had, I don't remember what the brand is, but when I saw it, I thought that is there a reason why Habbo isn't part of their collections? That you can see Habbo hoodies there or Habbo t-shirts. Uh, I think that should be the end goal, that you can see Habbo brand everywhere. And I'm
Yeah.
hoping that the new person who we are hiring is able to actually get that done. But in the meanwhile, I think we have been quite successful with the small tests that we have done so far with the merchandising, and I want to do more of those. One example I have was that when we were in Metams a few years ago, was it 22? We had these Habbo hoodies there hanging. We had a few custom made. There were like literally 100 people walking past that. Hey, I played Habbo. Can I buy that hoodie? So it's actually a very loved brand, and people remember it fondly from their youth. And if we do merchandising, I think it could actually sell quite well. We just need to find the right partner. We have had quite bad results with some of the partners, so we just need to find a good one, and ideally some partners who can take the Habbo items to actual stores, brick and mortar stores, so that we can sell there as well. But to start with, one collection in the website is probably the thing that we do first. But let's see.
No, that's exciting. That's huge. Like I know you guys had sold stuff in the past. Unfortunately, I never got my hands on it. I was too late. Unfortunately, I want the hoodie. So if you need someone to test anything in the future, I'm your guy. All right, I'll test it for you. All right, but one thing that comes to mind, I think it would be difficult to do. But if there's any brand that would be, I feel like it would do well, would be like a Funko Pop. Like the Habbo, like a Habbo design, like the traditional look. The yellow shirt, the blue pants, the doll that you guys sold in years ago. If you had that as a Funko Pop, I think that can actually like do well. You know what I mean? Because Funko's huge in the industry. So if there was any idea, I don't know how it works in the merchandising industry, but that's something that comes to mind that I can picture out in someone's room.
That's something to keep in mind. I think we had some discussions a while back, but I don't know where they went. Probably nowhere, because it didn't happen. But I think we can try it again. I think I agree. I would definitely buy one
Yeah,
if
well,
we
obviously,
would
I
have.
would buy one. I'd buy probably two. I'd buy one to keep in the box, and then I buy one to open it out of the box, right? And then if you had something like where it has like an HC bat, I don't know. There's so many things you guys can do, and I think it's endless in terms of the possibilities. So I'm looking forward to seeing that aspect. Now, I don't want to take too much of your time. We've been sitting here for quite some while, and I just want to say I really appreciate every moment we had here, just going back and forth in terms of different questions and different topics. Is there anything you want to end this podcast with for anyone listening and that's watching this video with an avatar on the screen? They don't get to see us, but in terms of in terms of the community listening, is there anything you want to say to them before we end this off?
Well, I just want to say that we, as the Habbo team, we really appreciate the community. We are getting so much good feedback from you guys, and also you, uh, Spider, who are doing stuff like this. This is really important for us, and something that is hopefully part of the website updates that we are looking into. I want to find ways to start uh, boosting or spotlighting the creators, the community, content creators, everyone who is working on Habbo. It goes too often unsaid that how important the community and the content creators and everyone is to Habbo. So I just have to say thank you to everyone, and we definitely appreciate it. And even though it might seem that we are not listening or we are not hearing, we are reading the feedback and everything constantly, and it is coming to us. We just don't always respond, and not everything gets implemented into the game, but we are listening.
That means a lot, and I'm sure all the creators out there, the content creators, even myself, like in that group, we appreciate that because I think at the end of the day, I don't think people get to see or they feel like the developers on your side is maybe not listening, but I feel like at the end of the day, you wouldn't be here doing this podcast if you didn't care about the game and about the community itself. So again, Muumiopappa. By the way, that username is tough. It doesn't roll off the tongue for me, other than Spider. Just want to point that out. And actually, just one last question. Just one final one. Sorry. Where does the name come from? I have to know. What does the name mean? Like, is there a meaning behind it? Like, I need to know.
Sure, I've said this a few times, but I can tell this story again. So if it's too hard, you can call me Muumio. Muumio in Finnish means mummy, like the Egyptian wrapped
Oh,
thing.
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's why the Muumiopappa stuff in the collectibles is like mummy related. And basically, the mummy nickname came from my then girlfriend, now wife. She was doing her thing. She just randomly shouts stuff at sometimes, women. And one time she started calling me Muumio, so mummy, and that
Okay.
became my nickname with her. And like few years later, I became a father. I have two kids now, and Pappa basically means a father. And there's this
Okay.
Finnish very popular cartoon, Moomin, and it has the Moomin Papa, who is the Moomin father. I don't remember what it's called in English, but it's Moomi Papa, so without the O in the middle. So basically, that's where the Muumiopappa comes from. So it's very near to Muumipappa, which is the cartoon character. So I decided to just add the Papa at the end of Muumio, so that the now that I'm a father, so I think it fit quite well. I know it's a bit difficult for you foreigners, but in Finland,
Yeah.
it's actually, I promise you, it's very clever.
No, no, no. I trust me. Like, blame it on my accent. I'm as Canadian as it gets. Although I don't really say the word a lot in my day to day. But I don't want to take more of your time. I know you're a busy man and you got things to do. But I just want to take a moment to say thank you. It really means a lot, and I think it means a lot to everyone listening to this. Just the game means a lot to us at the end of the day, especially like Origins, which is like built on my nostalgia and the feelings that we've all had. And I like that the community gets to listen to this, gets to listen to your side, your thoughts on different topics. So just want to say thank you. I hope we get to do it again in the future, maybe. And yeah, looking forward to what the future holds for all the games that Sulaki has. So thanks again, and it means a lot. And for anyone listening and watching, hit that like, hit that subscribe, play the game, go inside, and let us know what you thought. And then I'm sure the team will read the comments and get an idea in terms of what the feedback is for all of the things that we talked about today. So thanks again. And as always, we'll see you next time. Take care.